we need to talk continuously regarding the Kadamba deities. Yesterday I started to explain 4 Kadamba deities, and number 1 is Buddha Shakyamuni. We explained already. So now it's second is Avalokiteshvara, and second is Avalokiteshvara, third is Grintara, and the fourth is Achala. So we explained yesterday, we discussed yesterday regarding Four Noble Truths. So because of Four Noble Truth, as the fundamental situation of us, so therefore, due to this explanation from the Buddha, so therefore Buddha is a reliable teacher, not the other way around. He is a great master, and then because he is a great master, therefore we have his teaching as Four Noble Truths, but the other way around. So that means, according to Buddhist theory, we always need to be connected with reason, right? And reasoning is most important. Faith can be blind faith, and the faith is not the number 1 that we should have, but we need to understand. So understand it through the reasoning. So therefore, when we are making a judgment, a teacher, so it should not be that whether he or she is good looking, or rich or not rich, or tall or short, whatever. All these things are not related as his or her qualities, but the speech, what they're speaking, in which subject they are dealing, and how they approach to us. These are the most important things. For instance, His Holiness Dalai Lama is most well-known teacher in the world, actually, but not because of his Dalai Lama, because of head of the Tibetan government and head of the Buddhist religion or whatever, but because of his speech. His speech, he speaks so profound and so clear and so vast and so exactly suitable for everybody. Therefore, for all of us, very important to check these masters who is giving to us many teachings or whatever, or who visited such as this country. Number 1 is you all need to get correct information on his teaching, which way, what kind of he or she giving teachings. So this is the most important. The names are not important at all. Whether they have a very good name, high name, and a very high lama or very simple lama, never mind. And actually, most simple lamas need to be more regarded, more respected than the high lamas. The high lamas related more or less only with culture, right? Of course, it's with the religion, but very much influenced by the Tibetan culture. So therefore, whether His Holiness always emphasize there are differences between true gurus. True guru means reincarnations, such as me in person, and Lama in the sense of a guru. Between guru and Turkus, big difference. So the Turkus can be Lama, can be guru, but not necessarily. Those who are brought up in our culture as reincarnated one, so he or she has already this name, already this, how should I say, recognition. But it doesn't, not necessarily connected with his Dharma qualities. But the gurus, also I must say, theoretically, must be linked, strictly linked with the Dharma qualities. Actually, recognition of Tulku, reincarnations, and title of Rinpoches actually belongs to the museum. Because this another occasion, maybe for 200-300 years ago, in Tibet, the time need to be different, and geographical place need to be also accordingly, such as a remote area in Tibet, without influence by any other foreign cultures, foreign environments. So it has been, it was very useful to have such a reincarnation in our country. But now it's a time of inflation of Tulkus. So there are so many Tulkus. As soon as one master, one geshe, or whoever died, the people are trying to find out his reincarnation. This is actually not good sign, right? Tulku inflation. Therefore, I'm always to say Tulku inflation. During our ancient time, although before we were having this system, the Buddha Dharma was tremendously and fantastically expressed in Tibet without having Tulkus. But after that, actually, I can say, after starting the introduced reincarnations, Tulkus, then Dharma practice going down to down. So it's actually more harmful than useful. During this degenerated time, we have so many fake lamas, fake Tulkus and fake masters or whatever, right? Such as in Tibet. So now it's become so many fake lamas or fake gurus going to the tour to China and also some other countries, if it's possible, to traveling. So they are trying to collect lots of money. And this is really great harmful for all Dharma practitioners. And then as well as in countries like Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong, and these areas, also many fake lamas traveling around. And also in the European countries. So therefore, it's a great danger to meet such a fake gurus. For example, in the Gelugpa tradition, such as one monk, after finish his study and become geshe degrees, and the right of immediate after that, of course not all, but quite a number of, then start to find way to going out. And so that means they are mostly focusing on the financial interest, not Buddha Dharma practice. So therefore it is rather sad. I lead Tibet House, Germany, which is not strictly Dharma center, but Tibet culture. But However, the main part of our activity is Buddhism, of course. So therefore, actually, I need also very good resident teacher. And when I'm looking around, so of course many people are interested to come and join us. But after I invite them, so it shows us not really good reputation. So therefore, my wife suggests me, when I invite those geshes who refuse to come, so you must invite them. And those geshes who is willing to come, you should not invite them. That's very, very true. So everybody is ready to go out. So, however, we need to start to think about the quality of our guru, quality of Buddha, through the channel of their speech, their teaching, and their conduct, rest of conduct. According to our teaching or our text, of course, our gurus are extremely important. We need to be highly respected. But at the same time, I think I mentioned already last time, during my last visit or whatever, whenever, but the way we are connecting with our own guru need to be very careful. If we so much focus on a person, as a human, so it can be good, but not necessarily good. It can be dealing some misunderstanding or whatever. But we need to connect with their inner quality. This inner quality is different as external quality or external habit or external whatever, right? So these need to be separated, distinguished. For example, most of you are very much connected with Lati Rinpoche. Unfortunately, he passed away. He is no more in our surrounding. This is one aspect. But at the same time, if we are thinking about his good qualities or his quality as guru, he always presents in our mind, right? So therefore, for example, if you are using "he was my teacher," this kind of formulations, according to Buddhist way of thinking, is incorrect. He is my guru. Whether he is here or not, no problem. But we are talking about his inner quality, so which remains in our heart. It will never be separate from us. So otherwise, if we very much grasp on a person, so then it will be difficult. It can be difficult for us if he or she shows such funny conducts and as human nature, or if he or she passed away, then we also be suffered, and the disappointment suffered can only be arised when we grasp on the external matter, external level. Yeah. So this is some additional information, and now we are really going to this subject, which is Avalokiteshvara at the number 2nd. Why Atisha introduced us Avalokiteshvara as 2nd? Number 1, Atisha, the Avalokiteshvara is nature of Buddha's wisdom, not wisdom, Buddha's compassion, all Buddha's compassion. We all of us looking forward to achieve enlightenment, which is Buddhahood. In order to achieve Buddhahood, of course, we need to have not only good motivation, but our mental attitude need to be pure. Significance of good mental attitude and bad mental attitude can only be how much that we are focusing on us, or how much I am focused on myself, or how much focus that I am focused to the others. This needs to be main point. How can we make a distinction? We have in our Lojong subject exchange. How was that? Oneself and others, right? Exchange oneself and others. So that means we need to be practice. Let's say, if I was he or she, how will be reacted? How will be feeling? Whether it's very comfortable, happy, or very sorrow, very uncomfortable. So this proper understanding of others to take on us is a key point for the practice of exchange between ourselves and oneself and others. So we can read in Guru Yoga Lamanchapa, this second or last part, or this 11th part, right? So it's also saying that self-cherishing is door of all problems. If you are cherishing the others, it's the door of all good qualities. So therefore, as long as I'm focused on me and always thinking about me, trying to me in some correct way to live and all benefits draw to me, and always thinking about me is unrealistic, and it caused me only problem. As long as I focus on others' benefit, others' welfare, that will be only good at the end for me too. So therefore, His Holiness also emphasized very much, according to Kadamba's way of explain. If you would like to happy and make profit, so because of that, you need to be regarded the others, and more respect to others. And in that moment, you can neglect you yourself. Actually, we would have, actually, Atisha introduced us 4 deities. But if you're looking very carefully, all these deities, maybe except Buddha Shakyamuni, are symbols of Buddha's qualities. Different symbols, different Buddha's qualities as symbolized. Instead of that, he introduced some 3 or 4 kind of personality to whom that we can grasp and hold very firmly. That's not true. It's not the way of Buddhist teaching. So the correct way of Buddhist teaching is we must take care by ourselves. But through this channel, through these activities, we need to get out of the samsara. We need to achieve the Buddhahood by ourselves, instead of someone help us and someone draw us out of the samsara. This communication would not be function in Buddhism. Proper understanding of others' need, proper understanding of others' benefit, and other wishes are really important for all of our practice. So through this channel we can achieve bodhicitta. For number one is the great compassion, and then bodhicitta. Sometimes I can see the formulation of awakening of mind. So this formulation is fantastic, right? So that means up to now we are really not awake, more or less sleepy and very dull and didn't understand the correct way. But awakens from this point, I really understood which way is correct way for me, that means for others. Or for others, that means for me. So however, Avalokiteshvara is a symbol of compassion, all Buddhas, compassion. So because of that, if we connected with him, if we meditate on him, it will help us to obtain special energy, positive energy, in order to increase our good heart.
所以呢，因此呢，我们会需要修这个格当四尊里面的第二尊观音，那以及第三尊呢是绿度母。事实上，绿度母呢，它所代表的呢，就是这个诸佛的这个立生事业。
We would like to practice proper way in order to achieve the Buddhahood and Bodhicitta. So therefore, we need success of our doing, our practice. So in order to achievement this successfully practice, we also need to have some support, positive energy, which is green Tara. So therefore, the help by the Tara is not necessarily, I start again. Green Tara is a symbol of activities, but it doesn't mean that we just ask her to give us some blessings, and through her help, we will achieve all successfully. It's not as incorrect. We must be ourselves very active, doing correct way. If we do this, so she also can help us. She can also give us some more support. As long as we will be passive, she shouldn't give us any active support. Our activities need to be very intelligent activities. So this intelligence is symbolized through the deity of Achala. Achala is the nature of all Buddha's wisdom. Actually, it's the same as Manjushri, but in a wrathful aspect. One can explain a lot of things about Achala, but however, in the time of degeneration, we are very much involved with perceptions or wrong thoughts, which come from ignorance. So therefore, in order to get proper understanding and intelligence, we need to have support from Achala. as a summary, we need to practice Four Noble Truths correct way. Therefore, we need to be focused on the others instead of oneself. And we need to be very active, and we need to have not only active, but it's also with intelligent way. So therefore, four deities come from this aspect, this understanding. So these are the basic information. So now number one verse is that we focusing mainly practice in order to achieve great compassion. So number one, first of all, we need to remove all our doubts if you want to practice properly. Such as if you want to make a retreat, so you must know the subject more or less properly, and you must know how should you do this, and why it is like this. All these questions must be clear up before you practice. You must have dedication to your practice. So otherwise, your practice just half-hearted. So that means sometimes you have slight interest, but generally not that much. So if you don't have enough interest, nothing will be comes out in a proper way. Either you're doing business or some whatever worldly matters. Also, you need to have a very strong motivation and dedicated. Either your practice, such as formal practice, or 24 hours daily life. These two ways to practice, or maybe we can say to live correct way, right? So these are also most important Dhamma practices. So however, you must be aware, such as today, right at the beginning in the morning, today I would like to try to be good human being. And tonight, you can recall or recheck whether you are a good human being these days, this past time, or not. If you feel correct, if you feel good, so then of course it's a reason to be joy or to become. So anyway, so otherwise you should to be regret to this matter and try more. You think that tomorrow I must do better than today. So you always have this dedication and this focusing is very, very important to keep our mind in a continuously correct way. If you don't have joyful feeling to your practice, then of course you'll get sloth, mental dullness, and laziness. If you see the qualities what you're doing, so that you will not be fall in these problems. If you have an appointment with other counterpart in your business, so you must be alert right at the beginning. You must have all more or less programs in your mind on which matter, which way you are going to make a conversation or discuss with this person. So you will not be sleepy or laziness or dullness or whatever. So if you have this attitude, so you can't do this business meeting properly. So likewise, while we're doing Dharma practice, we also need to have a good mental condition. But this mental condition cannot come out just like this, but we must try to obtain this good condition. So this is actually only related with joyful. If you're interested, if you're happy with your Dharma practice, so then you'll do it correctly. If you're not much interested, so then it's sometimes you can recite this, and sometimes you are thinking about others, but only sometimes. Number 2 is watching on you. If I make it very short, watching on you in the sense of that you are watching on your mind. Whether I'm thinking correctly, whether can I correct my mind or my mental attitude, and why I'm thinking this way and why should I think other way. All this compare among the mental attitudes is very, very useful. So number 3 is great advice in order to achieve mental strength or very strong mental attitude. So that means this way of thinking is actually exactly opposite that we are usually expecting or thinking, right? No one interested to show my own faults. And I always try to find some faults by the others. And I always try to introduce my good qualities. And therefore I'm thinking that doing this way, I achieve better position. So people think, oh, he's a great man, he's very kind, and whatever. This is actually our main purpose. But if I do this way, then it's exactly wrong, because through this channel I couldn't achieve the positive experience by the others. So therefore, I should explain my wrong attitude, wrong way of thinking, and so on. And I should not search the fault by others. If you have some good qualities, you should not make issue or make big. If I know 10%, just say I know the 80% or something like that. These exaggerations, very, very harmful. And one must respect others' good qualities, even they have a very limited qualities, but the qualities, good qualities. So we must emphasize from these good qualities. Theoretically, it's not so difficult for us Asian people, because we have in our culture reduced our good qualities to less show our good qualities and respect the others. It's actually it's more common in the Asian area. But in modern time, many Western way of thinking or aspect, modern society's way of thinking is involved very much, so therefore it's also difficult. it's difficult to make a proper way, I think. Number 4 is more or less thoughtful to the others' support, others' help, others' understanding. So that means one should not too much greedy, extremely greedy and expecting respect by the others. All these things, all these attitudes are very hindrance for our position in order to keep correct level. Satisfied is one of the most important quality or attitude, mental attitude that we should have. And of course, modest desire as well. If you have really good satisfaction, or if you have satisfaction and just limited desire, so actually we can achieve many good mental qualities. Without having satisfaction and without having modest desire, so produce all problems, not only our private, personal levels, but also society level, and nation level, international levels. So all our modern problems are actually coming from the dissatisfactions and great desire, having great desires. Number 5 is basic instruction of dealing with karma properly. And as soon as you have a good foundation of this discipline in your mind, so you will achieve easily very strong, very stable compassion and bodhisattva. I'm sure all of you, or most of you, are knowing the 10 good deeds or 10 bad deeds, which are the basic attitude of the karma. So among these 10, 3 of them connected with body, 3 of them with mind, and 4 of them with speech. So that means it shows our karma among our karma. The karma through speech is most affected to us. So that means through these 10 bad deeds or bad thoughts, bad karmas, produce us in equanimity in our mind. So that means it produces in discipline in our mind. Without having equanimity or discipline in our mind, we are not able to cultivate great compassion and bodhicitta. Because in the bodhicitta and great compassion, we must be in the position to handle all sentient beings equally. So number 6, destroy anger and conceit. This is the most important, and Yes, this is important because all our problems, or many of our problems, rise or coming from more or less this attitude. If you have anger, it will be not possible that you have any kind of harmonious relationship between the others. Not only between others, but you yourself. They're short-tempered and without hesitation to speak others with wrong words or bad words. These are very, very dangerous for all of us. Of course, sometimes we are thinking, my nature is like this. My parents are also short-tempered. I'm also short-tempered. Maybe there are some related, but the short tempers are not the nature of mind, but it's temporarily affected in your mind or in our mind. So therefore, if we try to reduce, we will be able to reduce this. We are all common people in the sense of deluded people, deluded person. But this is nothing in a special case. So we must be in the position to control by ourselves, to check ourselves. So otherwise, as soon as we are thinking some wrong attitude toward others, just speak, just put in the word, speak out. This is very, very harmful. So before we're doing so, we need to check a little bit, at least for a few seconds before you speak out. So then maybe you can change some wording through which you wouldn't harm the others. I would like to be happy, harmony. If I interested to get harmony and happy, why should I cause the others disharmony and unhappy? Both of us have equally right to have happiness and become good time. As soon as I'm thinking wrong way toward to others, and I speak this directly, it couldn't be, and it wouldn't be joyful for me, not for the others. I must try to speak very nicely, very friendly. I must avoid to use wrong words to others. So otherwise, through the using this and through the being such bad habit, it wouldn't be introduced in me or create in me a happiness, in my mind, happiness. There's nowhere. As soon as I have some bad thought to others, it makes me, it bring me so some great unhappiness. So no one thinking that I was so happy today because I was so angry, right? So through this angry, I feel so much happiness. And so therefore I speak very loudly, so many words, using so many bad words. So I was so satisfied. And the other people was also so great pleasure to hear from me this way of conversation. So it's not possible. If you have a very proud mind, very proud attitude, it comes out not very nicely, and it will not remain for a long period this way. So therefore it is important to keep family in the lower place. If you have really good qualities through which many people respect you, that will be all right. But there's no reason that you act as if you are a great person. So now we have up to number 6 verses. Maybe we can start with questions and answers if we have some questions. Mm-hmm. Yes, please.
Okay, Rinpoche, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
I have read that one moment of anger can destroy the roots of good karma. I also read in other places that karma cannot cancel out each other. So what is the meaning of the phrase, anger cancels the roots of good karma?
Yes. This is one of the most difficult questions. Honestly say, I by myself, not so 100% sure why should like be this. But at the same time, I can understand the way of teaching the teachings this way, because actually among the defilements, anger is one of the most difficult, most harmful. It's not most difficult to overcome. Attachment is most difficult to overcome, but anger is more harmful. This is a Buddhist philosophical way of talking. Because it's very harmful, so therefore we must take more care than other defilements. So otherwise, we will be involved with anger continuously. And through this anger, destroyed my mind totally. So therefore, I wouldn't have clear mind in the next, maybe next, many, can I say aeons? Yes, many aeons. So therefore, if I don't have clear mind, many eons, there's no way to increase good thoughts in my mind. So this is the reason. The second part of your question is one karma cannot be cancelled. Others. That's not true. It's not true. If it's like this, so there's no way to practice. So what I'm thinking is just like a scale. Do I say scale? Yes? Yes, scale. And in the scale, first the both of have 50%. The one is 50% good deeds, 50% bad deeds. So then I put more good deeds, more point, more whatever. So then it's more heavier. So that means through this power, vanished actually, power of bad deeds. So at the end, whatever we have in our mind, it will only be purified through the good karma or through the bad deeds. Without having karma, those are not dedicated. So therefore, of course, it's possible to cancel to each other or affect to each other.
Okay, the question is, dear Rinpoche, on what basis do we check a teacher? Number one, do we check a teacher by my own deluded mind? Or number two, do I check a teacher from reference to books like the Lamrim, but then the Lamrim would be based on my own deluded understanding and interpretation? Or do we check a teacher from what I hear from others' opinion about this teacher?
Okay, that's right. Actually, I can give you a very short answer to say yes. So I don't need to add that many. We all have a deluded mind, so therefore there's no other possibility. So therefore, as much as good as we can make a judgment. This judgment need to be rely on, right? Rely on, and rely on the lamrims, rely on the information from the others, and you yourself, what kind of expectation that you have, and whether he or she can be fulfill my wish, my expectation. Do I need to have this particular person as a teacher or not? So these are the answer. So it's somehow similar relationship procedure, such as between boys and girls. So first they become friends, and then later engagement, and later getting married. It is not correct. Today meet someone, and tomorrow getting married. That will be, yes, that will be too rush, right? Too rush. So likewise, if someone who gives talks about Buddhist contents, so you shouldn't regard it as your own guru right at the beginning or immediately. But first, let him or her give talks, and then later you can see whether it's suitable for me according to my expectation or not, and then become good Dharma friends. And as Dharma friends, you can exchange your mind, your thoughts, and as Dharma friend, you can get Dharma information from him or from her. And later, if you feel confident, so then of course you can regard him or her as your guru. This is step by step is important. Okay, you are going to put.
Rinpoche, how do we develop wisdom to not to be attached to enlightenment?
To be not attachable and?
To not be attached to enlightenment.
In our position, in our level, it's not possible. All of our perceptions are diluted, so therefore our attitude toward the three jewels in every aspect are also diluted. But through this channel, this is actually only channel. Through this channel, we can achieve our pure mind. Pure mind in the sense of we will be overcome slowly, slowly, one by one, from the delusions, and up to at a certain level, we will be able to overcome from the delusions. So from that time, so the view to the attached enlightenment is pure. So we will not be attached to our enlightenment. Do I give you a proper answer to your question? Okay.
Yeah, I want to ask.
Yes.
Okay. Well, about anger. Actually, there are circumstances and situations that sometimes you just have to show your anger, that in order to get things done. Because there are people
in order
to get things done. Because there are people, some people, that if you don't show anger to them, they will not do things for you.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But as long as I feel, if that is a situation, to show anger is right. That's my view. But as long as you don't take anger to your heart, because you know that this is one of the tools that you need to, is the method to get things done, you just show your anger. But you actually don't take that anger to your heart. It's just a show, no? Just to get things
That's
done.
right.
Will that, in fact, demerit our practice?
Yeah. So actually, this is correct, because sorry, we are the step by step. As how was that? I'm trying to remember one quotation. But however, Buddha explained us gradually, or make a distinguish, how should we deal with our anger. If you are a practitioner, practitioner of this and that levels, you are not permitted to have any circumstance, any anger. But if you practice bodhicitta, especially connected with the tantric aspect, and so you will be able to make a distinguish between the motivation of the time and the motivation of cause. There are two motivations, make a distinguish. Motivation of cause need to be always compassionate. Motivation of time, if it's necessary, if you couldn't avoid this circumstance, you are permitted to have a wrathful motivation. So this makes it different. So therefore, what you explain now is actually from the heart. You're compassionate to teach, to show the correct way, but at the same time, it might not be able to always be very peaceful and very respectful. But sometimes you need to show a little bit sign. But it should not be excused.
Okay, the question here is, Rinpoche, what is the difference between the 4-arm and 1,000-arm Avalokiteshvara? Did Adishta specify which Avalokiteshvara he was referring to, or is it just Avalokiteshvara in general?
Just a moment. Did his Adisha
Specify which Chinese he was referring? Is it 4-arm or 1,000-arm, or is it in general Avalokiteshvara?
No, it's four-armed Avalokiteshvara. Four-armed Avalokiteshvara is basic aspect of all Avalokiteshvaras. And the first question was not very difficult. The difference is only 996.
Why 4 arms sometimes 1,000 arms? Because it's too busy, right? Too many people to take care.
Okay, the second part of the question is, why Achala and not Manjushri? Is there a special meaning to Manjushri's wrathful form?
I mean, one can ask other way around. If some way introduced Manjushri, so then you can ask, why not Achala? Yes. But however, the wrathful aspect have special power to destroy it, to easily destroy our ignorance. So therefore, for instance, we have to practice also such as Vajrabhairavaya. You cannot practice only with peaceful aspect of Manjushri, but also another wrathful aspect. So in this case, is Achala, and Achala is not only the nature of wisdom, but also he is very powerful to remove many other obstacles, such as disease and impure feelings or whatever. So, last question.
Okay, the question here is, Dear Rinpoche, when we receive initiations and we are required to follow some verses or vows in Tibetan, sometimes it is too fast and we cannot follow and repeat the words accurately. Is it alright? Does it affect the effect of us receiving the initiation?
Well, theoretically, we should understand properly what we are saying, what we are repeating. But but if lamas ask to repeat in Tibetan language to those who are not able to speak or to understand Tibetan properly, so the problem is there. So, more or less imagine this case, the Lama need to explain what he will or she will ask you to sing. So at least you have to know this meaning that you are going to say. So therefore it is actually important to ask repetition in your own language, if it's possible. So thank you very much. We will continue tomorrow.